Hello.
Raja here.
Hi. I got a message from Barkha Dutt just now.
Huh?
Barkha Dutt.
What does?
She says that she's been following up the story with Prime Minister's office since the night. She said she was the one who told me when Sonia Gandhi went there. She says that he has no problem with you, but he has a problem with Balu.
But it has to be disclosed to leader.
Let's talk about communication and how it has evolved over time. As Aristotle rightly said, man is a social animal and we cannot live without communication. With the advent of technology, communication has become more advanced and telecommunication has emerged as the most prominent technology in recent times. It allows us to exchange information or messages of all forms through the electromagnetic system. However, sometimes even this technology is misused for fraudulent activities. And one such incident happened in India, known as the 2G spectrum scam. This essay aims to discuss the strategy used in the scam, how it was exposed, who was accused, and the socio-legal impacts caused. We will also take a look at the regulatory actions taken against the scam and a brief analysis of the Indian Supreme Court's judgment in the matter. Are you ready to dive in? Did you know that just like the air that surrounds us, there's something else that surrounds us too? Yup, you guessed it. It's spectrum. Spectrum refers to a range of electromagnetic waves that are used to carry data. And the cool thing is, it's a natural resource that's been around since, well, forever. But just because it's natural, it doesn't mean anyone can just go ahead and use it for free. In fact, if you want to use it, you have to buy it. Think of spectrum like invisible roads that are used to transfer information. Just like you can't drive on a road without paying tolls, you can't use the spectrum without paying for it. So, let's say you want to set up a radio station like 92.7 Big FM. First, you would have to buy a studio and set it up. Next, you would have to send signals through wavelengths to spread your audio across the country. Different wavelengths have different frequencies, and to transmit your audio to radios across the country without the use of wires, you would need to purchase bandwidth. This is the range of frequencies that your data would be transmitted on. But of course, you can't just use your spectrum without anyone keeping an eye on things. That's where the Indian government's Department of Telecommunication, or DOT, comes in. The DOT was established to make sure that everyone uses their spectrum efficiently, so we can all enjoy clear signals without any interference. Let's dive into the 2G spectrum scam, shall we? In 1992, India launched second generation or 2G services, which include text messages, picture messages, and multimedia messages or MMS. Initially, it was introduced at a frequency of 900 MHz, which was later increased to 1800 MHz, and many telecom companies purchased bandwidths depending on their use and capacity. Now, let's fast forward to 2007. The government of India found out that there were many 2G spectrums available, and they decided to sell them to different companies to generate funds for government services. They announced that they would grant 122 new 2G spectrum licenses, and on 25th September 2007, the then Union Telecom Minister, Shri Andimuthu Raja, also known as Araja, issued a press note for applications with the deadline of 1st October 2007. A total of 575 applications were received from 46 firms by the Department of Telecommunications. Now here's where things get really interesting. Instead of carrying out a free and fair auction, it was decided that the licenses would be sold on a first come, first serve or FCFS basis. The cost of these licenses was decided based on the market rates of 2001, which were much less than the prevalent market rates of 2007. This decision naturally raised eyebrows and suspicions. To add to this, on 2nd November 2007, the then Prime Minister of India, Shri Manmohan Singh, wrote a letter to Araja to ensure fair license allocation and proper revision of fee as per the current market rates of the 2G spectrum. Another letter was sent to the Department of Telecommunications by the Finance Ministry expressing the same concerns. However, it was alleged that Araja ignored these letters. So clearly something fishy going on here, wouldn't you think? Let me put it in a more engaging way. Picture this. It's January 10th, 2008, and the Department of Telecommunications is ready to sell the 2G spectrum licenses to different companies. It's a big day and tensions are high. Between 3:30 and 4:30 p.m., the licenses are sold out to the companies on a first come, first serve basis. But here's the catch. There were only 122 licenses available and a whopping 575 applications were received from 46 companies. Now, here's where things get really fishy. The licenses were not sold through a fair auction as is the norm. Instead, the DOT decided to grant the licenses based on the order in which the applications were received. To make matters worse, the cost of the licenses was determined based on the market rates of 2001, which were significantly lower than the market rates of 2007. Despite objections from the Prime Minister and the Finance Ministry, the then Union Telecom Minister A. Raja allegedly ignored their concerns and went ahead with the sale of the licenses. This decision would go on to have severe consequences, as it was later found that the licenses were sold at prices far below their market value, causing a huge loss to the national exchequer. The 2G spectrum scam that shook the Indian telecom industry was uncovered in 2010 by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, or the CAG. The report highlighted that the country suffered a loss of a whopping 176,000 crore rupees or 1,76,000 crore rupees due to the scam. Can you imagine the magnitude of this loss? In dollar terms, it amounts to an eye-watering 25 billion US dollars. One of the most shocking revelations of the report was that the 2G license was sold at the market rate of 2001, which was extremely low compared to the current market rate in 2007. It was a baffling decision considering the rapid growth of the telecom sector in India, which led to an increase in demand for the spectrum, driving up its market rate. The report also revealed that most of the private companies were informed beforehand about the preponing of cutoff dates and the method of first come, first serve. They had already completed all the necessary paperwork to ensure that they get the benefit of the license. To make things worse, it was found that demand drafts were already made by individual private companies before the actual date of sale. It was also discovered that companies like Swan Telecom, Unitech and Tata Teleservices had purchased the licenses from Department of Telecommunications and later sold them to Etisalat, Telenor and Docomo respectively at much higher rates. Out of the 122 licenses of 2G spectrum, a staggering 85 were sold to companies whose paperwork and other documents were incomplete, and most of them even submitted fake documents to secure their licenses. The report also revealed that certain companies purchased the 2G license without even having any relation to the telecom sector. For instance, the Swan Telecom promoters Shahid Balwan and Asif Balwa, who originally had a business in real estate, purchased the 2G license because of its low rate. All in all, the report exposed the sheer scale of the corruption and the extent to which the scam had been carried out, resulting in massive losses for the Indian economy and a massive loss of face for the powers that be. Let's talk about the aftermath of the 2G scam. The Comptroller and Auditor General of India, the CAG report, exposed the whole scandal, revealing how India suffered a loss of 176,000 crores due to the fraudulent selling of 2G licenses. This was a massive scandal that shook the entire country. The Central Vigilance Commission, or CVC, of India directed the Central Bureau of Investigation, or CBI, to investigate the matter. The investigation revealed a lot of shocking information. On 10th January 2010, recordings of telephonic conversations between Neera Radia, a political lobbyist, and Araja were exposed, which were tapped by the Income Tax Department. It was found that she influenced the then government for the appointment of Araja as Telecom Minister. This raised even more suspicion against Araja, and he had to resign from his post. The investigation revealed 17 accused behind the scam, including several corporate companies such as Unitech Wireless, Reliance Telecom, Swan Telecom, and others. A. Raja, the then Telecom Minister of India, was one of the main accused. He had the allegation of taking bribes of about 3,327 crore rupees for preponing or bringing forward the cutoff date for the applications. This way, few companies were favored as most of the companies got eliminated due to the shift of the deadline. He was charged with the offense of criminal breach of trust by a public servant under section 409 of the Indian Penal Code. Besides, he was also charged under sections 120B, 420, known commonly as 400 bis, and 468 of the Indian Penal Code for the offences of criminal conspiracy, cheating, and forgery, respectively. Lastly, he was booked under the Prevention of Corruption, or PCA Act 1988, for taking bribes. Another prime accused of the 2G scam was Kanimoji Karunanidhi, who was the daughter of the then Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Sri Muthuvel Karunanidhi. She was also charged under the same offences as of A. Raja. The scam clearly shook the entire country, and the investigation revealed some shocking truths about the level of corruption in the system. The 2G scam was a major controversy that shook the Indian telecom industry to its core. After years of investigation and legal proceedings, the accused were finally arrested by the Central Bureau of Investigation in February of 2011. The Supreme Court of India also imposed a heavy fine of 5 crore rupees on companies such as Swan Telecom, Unitech Wireless, and Tata Teleservices for their involvement in the scam. The apex court's verdict was made after a detailed analysis of the case, which revealed that A. Raja, the then Telecom Minister of India, had favoured a few companies by preponing the cutoff date for the applications. This led to the elimination of many other companies and resulted in a huge loss to the government exchequer. However, in a surprising turn of events, all the accused persons were acquitted by the apex court in 2017 due to the benefit of the doubt. The judge observed that while it was a fact that the scam had taken place, there was not enough evidence to prove the charges against the accused beyond a reasonable doubt. This verdict drew comparisons to the Noida double murder case of Arushi Talwar and Hemaraj, where the court had to acquit the accused persons due to a lack of sufficient evidence. It was a reminder that while justice must be served, it is crucial to have a strong legal system that relies on solid evidence and the rule of law. The aftermath of the 2G scam was such that people were left with more questions than answers. The controversy surrounding the Radia tape recordings forced A. Raja to resign from his post, and he was later accused of taking bribes of about 3,327 crore rupees for preponing the cutoff date for the applications. But despite the investigation by the Central Bureau of Investigation and the expose of the telephonic conversations, all the accused were acquitted due to the benefit of the doubt given by the Supreme Court in 2017. In response to the prosecution's failure to prove the accused persons guilty, Kapil Sibal, who succeeded Araja, came up with a theory called zero loss. This theory explained that there was no loss of revenue to the government, as even if the 2G licenses were distributed by auction, there were no set principles to decide the rate. However, the general public was confused about the basis on which the Supreme Court cancelled all the 122 new licenses. People lost all faith in the Indian National Congress due to the 2G scam, and this was evident in the 2014 elections. But the controversial verdict left some people dissatisfied, with Subramaniam Swamy, an Indian politician and economist, stating, "This is not a final verdict. Congress's happiness is short-lived. The 2G scam was one of the biggest scams in Indian history, and its repercussions were felt for many years." The 2G spectrum scam was definitely a dark chapter in the history of Indian politics and finance. The sheer amount of money involved, the key players involved in the scam, and the after effects it had on the nation's trust in the government were all alarming. It was a tough pill to swallow for the people of India to see that the system they trusted had let them down so badly. While the judgment of the Supreme Court might have acquitted all the accused persons due to the lack of sufficient evidence, it still remains a topic of discussion and debate. And there are always chances of overruling of judgments in India, which raises the possibility of justice being served in the future. As citizens, it is important for us to keep faith in our judiciary and the system. The onus is on us to demand accountability and transparency from our leaders and the government. And we must all strive towards a system that is efficient, effective, and accountable. In conclusion, the 2G spectrum scam was a wake-up call for the nation, and it is crucial for us to learn from it and work towards a better and more transparent system. It is time for us to demand accountability and justice for the loss caused to the nation. Thanks for watching, guys. Let us know in the comments if there is a topic you would like us to cover. And if you enjoyed this presentation, then please like and subscribe. And check out one of our other videos. Thank you.
Yeah, he has to discuss with the leader, no? He has to tell...
Let it be discussed in the morning. Why unnecessarily Congress tie-up is going out?
No, but then the question is about Aragiri, no?
Huh?
Aragiri is, people are saying that why is Maran getting cabinet when he's such a senior leader himself, no?
That is different, but all these things must be explored and disclosed.
That's right. That's right. I told her to get Congress...
at least one-to-one let it be disclosed to leader.
One-to-one?
One-to-one. Somebody should give you a message, at least in the sealed cover. We are having serious problem with the Balu.
From Congress, right? Okay, I'll tell her. She's talking to Amit Patel, so I'll talk to her.
Let him call at least over phone, sir. This is the problem. We are having high regards. We are having no problem with Raja, but the problem is Balu. Tell.
Then how will you resolve the other problem?
Other problems we will take care of slowly. But because leader comes down. Don't do.
Now leader comes down to 3, no?
Comes down for 3.
Yeah.
Even you are saying that Maran is not fit for infrastructure, he is having controversy. All right, let him be accommodated in the existing list. What has been suggested?
Maran.
You suggest. You send a message.
Okay. Okay.